morning, vintage outboard motor fans. This is T Mike again doing our 9 o'clock in the morning live stream. There we go. Having our bon tasse du café this morning. Good morning, good morning. Bonjour. Bonjour, mes amis. Having our bon tasse du café this morning. Getting ready to get started on a 9 o'clock live stream. Good morning, Randy. Good morning here from Toledo Bend Lake. Getting ready to do some live streaming. Today we are gonna work on the carburetor that we set cleaning yesterday. This carburetor is for Scott. It's for Scott. I'm looking for his paperwork. Oh, here it is. Scott's got a Johnson QD-23 carb rebuild. I think Scott on the live chat said he had 2 carburetors. He sent one to me and was hoping to get some preview on how we're doing. No, not raining right now. Says the weather report says that it's gonna be raining, but it's not raining right now. Thank God. The lake is full. Went out fishing last night again. Morning, Ziggy. Went out fishing last night again, caught 3 again. Had a couple of them that were probably worth keeping, but I threw them back. The lake has come up full, dropped, up full, dropped, is back up full again. Every time the lake fills up, they open the dam, generate power, open the dam for a week, drop it 2 feet, rain comes and fills it back up. So fish are going crazy. They don't know what to do. They got locked jaw. Rodney said it's wet in PA too. I know. All right, so let's get started. So recapping, we've been working on carburetors. Had that 9.5 carburetor, had some plastic stuck in the throat of it that was causing it to overflow. Not sure if Scott's had any problem with this carb or he just wanted to rebuild, but I got it all soaked. Yesterday showed you how to take it apart. Today I'm gonna take it out, blow it out, clean it. Turn to Texas, Gamar from Canada. Have you ever had a insert needle valve come? Yeah, I saw that question you have. Tom said it's wet in Fort Worth. So no, the threads on the carburetors are part of the carb bowl, so they can't come apart. There are some carburetors that have a threaded sleeve on the needle valve that goes in there. And they're kind of tough to learn how to set them, but I haven't had that trouble. I have not. All right, so today's plan is to take the carburetor out, clean it, rebuild it. Got the carb kit right here, 18-7043. Be careful when you buy these kits. There's a lot of Chinese kits out there that don't work. The gaskets literally dissolve when fuel hits it, and the main jet threads are not the same. You can tell the right carburetor by the color of the gasket. You want that color gasket. If it's a black gasket carburetor kit, don't buy it. Buy the one that says Sierra on it. I sell them in my eBay store. Part number 18-7043. This is the kit you want to use. But first, let's get the carburetor out of here. I have my bowl of soapy water here ready to go. I have my compressor. Ron says good morning. I have my compressor of air. Ooh. shot out some moisture this morning. So I have my compressor down here. It's probably gonna kick on while we're doing this work. We'll just have to bear with it. But let's have a bon tasse du café. All right, let's get started. All right, so once again, you should be wearing gloves when you do this. I've done it so many times that I can do it without it, but this carb cleaner is very abrasive and very dangerous to the skin, so he should be wearing gloves. So the way I do it, I'll take my carb, and I hold it with needle nose and drain all the fluid I can out of it. Ziggy said he had great success on the throttle setting on his 9.5. Yeah, the lean sneeze. I told Ziggy about how to set that lean sneeze on his 9.5. Sounded like it worked out for him. That's great. T-Mike tricks always work. Right, so after I run it through the soapy water right here, I feel like I can touch it. So I'm gonna take it. Right here, take my air and put it down in the bucket and spray it with air. Okay, once I got most of it. All right, so got the two main bodies cleaned and blown out. All the small parts are left in the water barrel here. I'm gonna take them out one at a time. So here's the one you got to worry about. That's the azimuth. It's got the holes in the side of it that the fuel comes through. I'll take my welding tip and run it through, and then through the just to make sure. Here's all the bolts. All right, so while we're letting that dry and getting ready to reassemble, I'm gonna give you some more Cajun culture this morning. Somebody said they wanted more Cajun. Well, I'm gonna give you some Cajun. So you know, down here in South Louisiana, we have the Cajun country, which is I'm originally from Breaux Bridge. We're Cajun. New Orleans area has what's known as Creole. So Cajun and Creole, probably all of you have heard those two terms before. What's the difference between a Cajun and a Creole? I'm gonna explain it to you now. So Cajuns are a mix of French, all right, French heritage, right? Creole is a mixture of French and Spanish. French speaking, but they have a tint of Spanish. So Spain also settled in Louisiana, Texas area, New Orleans area. In between the two was the French Cajuns that settled. So Cajun and Creole, two different things, and the cooking is different. Of course, Cajuns are known for their cooking, spicy, crawfish, seafood, gumbos, bisque, roux. All right, so that's Cajun cooking. Creole cooking has got a little Spanish in it. It's got some tomato sauce, some peppery, more peppers than the Cajun seasoning. So there's a difference between Cajun and Creole. We get along. We like each other. Je t'aime, je t'aime de Creole. So Cajun and Creole, that's the two differences. So I'm gonna try to throw a little Cajun at you every morning when you tune in. You never know what you're gonna hear. All right, so we're gonna say it's all dry, clean and dry. Now we're gonna put it together. Bon tasse de café. All right, I'm gonna give you a close-up look of it while I put it together. So, carb kit, bowl. I'm gonna float. I'm gonna get him a better float. I'm looking for a float for him. I thought I had one, I don't, but I'm gonna find one here. Not sure I had one. Well, we're gonna stick with this one. All right, so I start with the main body here. I'm gonna open up my carb kit, dump it all out here. Remember I was telling you earlier about the gasket? When you're buying your carb kits, make sure the gasket is this color, not a solid black. The good carb kits have this gasket on it. And of course they come with all the different gaskets for the against the carb manifold. You got your packing nuts, very important. Got a new main jet. Got the needle valve on the spring. Got the new gasket for the isthmus. Got your caps you got to put on. So let's do that first. Let's put the new plug. Remember we took this plug off to be able to get it soaked. Now you got to add the new plug back in. So the way these plugs work, they just kind of fit on there snug, and then you got to tap them in. And when you tap it in, it expands and jams in. So the way I do it, I take my ball peen hammer and I get it started. All right, now once you got it tapped in, take your flat punch and dent it. Yeah, flat punch right there. Just put you a dent in the top of it to make sure it's jammed in. All right, so that's done. Remember I told you also there was a screw to take out for cleaning. We got to put that back in. Got it. Okay, now let's assemble the guts of it. All right, so we're gonna take the isthmus or the throat, and we're gonna screw it back in. You gotta be careful when you tighten this. If you tighten too hard, it tends to break these slots. They're not real sturdy. Just snug. There's a difference between snug and tight. You want it snug. And here's the new gasket that goes around the top of it. right there. Now we're going to put our new main jet, and it's got a flat. This one is a red washer. The one that came off of it was like this. We're going to put the new one. Comme ça, like that. Now we got to put the cork back in. So there's a lever on the bottom here that stops it from going too far up. It goes in like this. I'm going to take the new needle valve, take the little spring attachment that comes with it, now I'm going to tell you right now, putting this thing on, that little spring it's supposed to hold, I'll take a pair of pliers and I'll squeeze it to make it stay on tight. It tends to want to fall off. I just squeeze it just a little bit to make that spring stay on there. When you take it, you set it on your float. Randy's got his coffee. Set it on your float, and you set the needle inside and set it on there. And here's the new pin that goes on it. Pin slides in, and then you want to check it. So you want the float to be parallel with the base. You don't want it to be up here. You don't want it to be down here. And if it's not, you just bend this part right here to make it go up or down. But it looks perfectly set. See where it's, if you move it and you check the operation of the needle valve, it's moving. And the carb is sitting just perfect. So it's all rebuilt. I'll put our new gasket. Okay. New gasket is on. No sealant. No sealant. I get this question all the time. Only use sealant when you're dealing with oil, all right? Gear case, oil in the gear case. Never use sealant when you're dealing with water or fuel. If it's a water pump, no gasket. If it's a carburetor, no gasket. The gasket sealant tends to dissolve and cause problems. So only use sealant when you're dealing with oil, not gas or water. That's the rule of thumb. All right, here's the body. We're gonna put the body on it. We'll put our screws. Body is not fitting, and I'm gonna tell you why. This pin is slightly longer than it needs to be. You just need to grind it down just a little bit or put the original pin. I don't know why it is, but I don't know why it is, but I normally just touch it on the grind and put it in, it fits. And when you're putting these screws in, I like to do the two catacorner. So I'll put this one in just snug and go catacorner and put that one in just snug. Ziggy, would you recommend replacing the cork float with a plastic one? Yeah, I mean, I would recommend, but I don't know. I mean, be honest with you, I've never found a bad float unless the metal piece that hinges is coming off of the float. The floats I don't find go bad. So yeah, you could. If I had a plastic one, I would have put it in there. I don't have one. I think it's gonna be fine. Uh, that's why they don't send them with the kit, because the floats don't normally go bad. Uh, so now I'm gonna put the rest of my screws in. So once I have all the screws in, the difference between snug and tight, again, snug is just snug, tight is tight. You don't want to go tight. This gasket right here has some give to it, so you just want to snug it up. And what I like to do is I like to go around clockwise on all the screws and snug them all up to about the same tightness, so you're not making the carb uneven, pressing down on one end more than the other. So I start here at 12 o'clock, snug, 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 snug. And then I make another round, try to make them all the same. All right, they're all the same. Okay, so that's the inside of them. Now, what we have left to do is the needle valves, all right? So they send these packing nuts, packing washers with the kit, and they've got 2, 4, they've got like 6 of them. They say to put two per in each one. So I'll take my little tool here. Randy says he doesn't think car floats like ethanol. Might be true. I don't know. I really don't have trouble with corks, and I do a lot of carburetors. Okay. That's one. Here's the next packing nut. That's 2. Now we're going to go on the high-speed side and put 2 of them in. Okay, got 2 packing nuts added to the top and bottom. Now we're going to put the needle valves. Where's my needle valves? Needle valves must have stayed in the bucket. Here they are. All right. So the larger, and this one's bent. It's got a bend to it. But the larger one is the high speed. So it goes at the bottom. Once again, I use my fancy little vice grips. All right, I got it all the way in. I'll take my locking nut. So they send 2 packing nuts. In each package, but some of these locking nuts have a bigger space than others. I'm going to take 1 packing nut out. And then a 7/16. I take my vice grip. All right, so, and then I take my vice grips and I work it back and forth. You see how it's loose? So then I take my wrench and tighten the packing nut. Now I'm starting to get some drag on it. Now that's pretty good. So we're on the high speed, we're closed all the way. You come out 3/4 of a turn, all right? So this is a half a turn, and this is 3/4, right there. That's the original setting. All right, now we're gonna go with the low speed. Oh yeah, yeah. This one's got that. This one's got that. Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. This one's got that sleeve on it. Yeah. So you got to hold the sleeve and take the sleeve down to about the center. Take that old vacuum washer out of it. And push it down in and put your packing washer. And come with your nut. That keeps that threaded one from backing out. Now I'm all the way tight. I'm gonna tighten up on my packing nut. That's pretty damn tight. Okay, so that's closed. So we want to come out 1 1/2. That's 1.5. Tighten the nut, and voila, we have it. That is a rebuilt carburetor. The high speed and low speed have been set. We're ready to take it outside. How do I know the insert didn't just turn? Because the packing washer and the nut keep it from backing off. It holds it in place and the screw goes through it. It is tricky to do, but trust me, that's how it's done. All right, so we have successfully taken apart, cleaned, and rebuilt a carburetor for QD-23 Johnson 10 horsepower for Scott. So tomorrow's live stream is going to be taking it outside, putting on the 10 horsepower and checking it. Make sure it runs before we send it back to Scott. And then the next thing to do Ziggy sent me a cowling. We're going to take it out tomorrow after the test run. Take the cowling out tomorrow and see what it looks like on the inside, and we're going to restore a cowling. Show you how to strip it down, clean it, sand it down, paint it, and decal it. Show you how I do mine. They come out pretty good. I haven't had a lot of complaints. People have been happy. Ziggy says thumbs up. Tomorrow, Ziggy, stay tuned. All right, I gotta go. I gotta go to town. I caught some fish in Venice about a month ago. Caught my limit of specks and reds. Had my son down from Washington State, Seattle with me. Flew in. I took him out there. We caught our limit 2 days. I got him in the freezer right here. I'm gonna ship him to his share to him overnight. He's gonna have a Cajun fish fry with his friends up in Seattle. That ought to be cool. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. I enjoy it every morning, 9 o'clock live stream. The only vintage outboard motor live stream on the internet. I dare you to find somebody else doing it. They may try, but they ain't doing it the T-Mike way. You know why? Because we're doing it one motor at a time. See you tomorrow on the live stream. And check out all my videos too. Check out my website, TMikesVintageOutboard.com. Subscribe to it, be giving out monthly newsletters, all right? Au revoir, mes amis, les bon temps roulé.